Hey Mama, it's Haley here. We recorded this little conversation a couple days ago, and with it being Valentine's weekend, we are just putting out a little just conversation episode. So enjoy. Oh my goodness. It's just amazing. Clancy, of course, woke up right as I got sat down to get on the computer.
That always happens.
Uh,
I was gonna say one thing the last time because when I was sick and I literally did nothing, it felt like for months because
yeah.
my kids were sick and we had like lack of sleep, and then I was getting sick and it took forever to feel better. And I think that could definitely help contribute to our little funk that we get into. Um, but it's really hard to just sit there and say, just do it and get out of it. Like, get up and go work out and get up and go do something. It's easier to say that than it is to actually do it.
Well, so when I messaged you this morning and I was like, I think we should just continue that conversation.
Yeah.
I had been sitting and scrolling TikTok for like inspiration online. And I was like, I haven't read my Bible. It's sitting right here. Oh, Lacey, hi.
Hi, Nancy. Hi. I heard you're walking. I heard you're walking. Are you walking?
Lots of
Yeah.
everywhere.
What's that song that he likes? Oh, hey, we will rock you.
Yay!
That's so cute.
He went poop on the potty this morning. I caught him. He walked into the bathroom, and I don't know if he like correlated. Like I was in the bathroom, and I don't know if he like correlated like whatever. Um, and he started to like grunt, and I was like, no, wait. I like jumped off the toilet, and I was like, let's go potty on the toilet. And then he got candy, and then all the kids got candy because he got candy.
Oh.
But
I had a crazy thought about trying to do like potty training younger, like really young, but I don't know if I would be able to.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people do that, and a lot of people are
Yeah,
like, well, a lot by like some people. They seem like they're a lot because they like get the most views on their like videos or whatever that they make about it, right?
right.
But I'm always like, that just can't be worth it.
That's how I feel too, because I'm like, okay, it's I know that you can get like really in tune with your baby and all of that. But also I remember when I was potty training, I had this fear that my girls were going to get UTIs because they would hold it. You know what I mean? Like when you hold your urine for too long. So I was like paranoid about that. So I'm like, I don't want to give my baby a problem. Like, what if they don't have bladder control? But then we hear that they do. And I don't know. We're getting off topic.
I, it's all topics.
It is.
That's why I was like,
We
we should
cover everything.
chat. Um, I don't know. Oh, I was thinking about, okay, so sorry. Let me finish my thought. I texted you and was like, we should finish or continue last week's conversation because um I finally was just like the kids were like cutting paper. They have like a whole craft suitcase
Hmm.
because we're fancy like that. Anyways, and so Casey had scissors and was just like cutting paper and like throwing chunks of paper. I was like, this is fine, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? Like I need to get up. I need to do something. Like a lot of times I think I feel like I can't do anything because there's so much to do and I can't do it. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
kind of get this voice in the back of my head that's like, well, if you had help, if, this and if that, and then, and so then I'm just kind of like, poor me, woe's me,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, so I got up and I went back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch. Like, what's the easiest thing I know how to do right now? switch laundry, right? Like
Hmm.
I can do that. So I did that and then I was like, oh, okay, like that was pretty easy. And then, it just gives you that win to go do something else. And I think a lot of times, and this was, I don't know who said this, but like, hey, you're talking too much. I'm trying to talk. Um, ooh, I know what you, wow, power.
Ha ha ha.
Wow. Here, you do it. Let me do it. We spend so much time trying to figure out how we're going to do the thing that we don't do the thing. And like in
Yeah.
time you spend trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna get a planner and I'm gonna write in my planner and okay, I need to get this and this and this, and you go to the store and you come back and your house is still a disaster, and then you just added more to your design, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so uh anyways, I was just thinking about that and then I was doing the dishes and and this is like not really the same topic, but it's fine because this is really how my brain works. It does not work in organized podcast thoughts. Um, I was doing the dishes because I like to have a clean kitchen. Like if my counters are clean and my kitchen is clean, like the rest of the house doesn't bother me that much.
Yes, I agree. I'm the same
And
way.
um, so I was doing dishes or whatever, and I was just kind of thinking to myself, and like I often try to or I've been trying to think of like blurbs to post of just like, hey mama, like today, like just do that or I don't know. Something encouraging aside from just reels of me. Uh
Hmm.
anyways, and I was thinking to myself, and I don't know if it's so weird because I don't want to over spiritualize or be like, the devil was telling me, but
Yeah.
I just kind of was like, I feel like I've been in a rut because I've been like, who do I think I am? Having a podcast where I'm trying to give advice or talk or, tell people who do I think I am? And call it imposter syndrome, call it spiritual warfare. I don't know, but it definitely has been an odd mentality. Like it's not like I'm depressed, but it's also like,
Yeah.
who do I think I am? Like, I don't know.
You know what when I was more involved with social media and I find myself scrolling too, and I hate it, but I do feel like it was like, what can I post to get everybody's attention and how far am I willing to go with like showing off my outfit and like whatever. Like, like a lot of the moms, it's a very easy thing to do is like an outfit of the day and posting that every day. And like, yes, I can see good things to it because like maybe you're getting yourself ready, but like there comes a time where maybe you're starting to approach like a line of like, are we idling social media and trying to get everybody's attention? And is that like our main focus? Or like, why are we doing this? You know what I mean?
Well, and
So,
I definitely feel that in like using scripture on
mhm,
social media or like because there are so many prosperity like women on social media. It drives me crazy. Especially, sorry, I'm just watching them go by with hay. This is my
I wish
entertainment.
I could see them, but I can't.
I'd hold you up to the window, but then Gary would think I'm insane. Anyways, oh, what am I saying? What was I saying?
Scripture with social media and
Oh, oh,
the
just like,
women out there, prosperity women, something I think is what you said.
well, and it's like a lot of it is MLMs, right?
Yeah.
Like this changed my life, and this is amazing, and this is gonna bring you true happiness and whatever. And so I'm always like, whatever, you're lying.
Yeah.
And then also though, like. on TikTok, especially right now, it's a huge thing to be like, God told me that somebody today needed to hear this.
I hate those. I'm sorry, I hate those.
I hate that. And you know what? Sometimes you do like feel called to share something, right? But like to go on there and like, and then it's so spiritualized and people are so like, oh yeah, yeah, that was just what I needed today. But then it's like, okay, in 20 minutes though, you're gonna be just as depressed because you don't like, you're getting your social media gospel and nothing more. And you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like I don't know. And that's why I have such a hard time with social media because I want to be so real and genuine and authentic, but at the same time it's like how far are you willing to go? How far are
Yeah.
you willing to be like, okay, well, and there's a lot of Christian women and it kind of drives me crazy that are like get ready with me or whatever and it's like they're in their bra and underwear.
Yeah.
And
Or
I'm
like,
like,
I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but even when they turn around and they're like taking off their bra, but you can only see their back, like I would never. You know what I mean?
oh,
Would
well,
never.
Jesse, if Jesse saw me post, and that's sometimes I kind of am like too. I mean, that's where like the whole feminist thing kind of comes in too, is like
Yeah.
I'm Christian and I'm a Christian woman, but don't my husband better not dare like tell me
Tell me
what.
what I can.
And,
And yeah, I get that. I do like to post, I know you probably see it in my stories. Sometimes I'll post like little clips from my workout.
yeah.
And those are a little awkward for me because like I'm not trying to draw attention. I do love working out. It might be for a little bit of attention, but I really try not to post anything of my backside. And I try to make sure I'm wearing something covering me because that's not what I'm there for. I do want, I like, do I want people to ask me, like, oh, hey, what's your workout program? Yeah, like, how can I be encouraging to you? Because that's what I like to do. But there's a fine line between, like, what are you showing? Are you showing off, like your assets
Well,
or,
Ashley had a video a while back, or maybe it was like a year ago. It was like her I've changed video
yes,
when she really like started pursuing Christ more and putting Christ
I remember that
on
video.
high prayer. And she was talking about how her husband was looking at her YouTube and had noticed that the videos that had the most views were the ones of her and her spandex and sports bra.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, here's a side to that.
Hmm.
Birthing videos on social media, like your coochie being out on social media on a public platform of your baby being birthed. Like, I totally get it if you're like in a doula course, right? Or like you're in some sort of something where like that's educational, right? Like I don't see that and I'm like, oh, but I just that is something that bothers me. 'Cause like I don't mind watching you labor on social
Yeah,
media. I don't mind watching you in your sports bra and in the tub and laboring. I don't really think I don't know that I would post that. I mean, I guess I posted a couple labor pictures. I learned nothing in labor. Don't put any clothes on me in labor. Anywho.
I agree. It's not, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
My poor midwife too. Both kids I had at that birthing center, they both times they're kind of like, well, usually moms wear like a sports bra or like a bikini top or something.
No,
Oh, nah, man. Let them hang.
like at most, I want to be in like a robe, or I labored in my nursing nightgown last time with Ellie, but because that's what I wore to bed. And honestly, it was so fast that I did not have time to think about that. But usually, like, I'll wear something very loose. I don't want nothing on here. Nothing.
And I
No,
guess you've never had a hospital birth either. The
I
hospital
know.
is so just dumb. I'm like, I
Is
don't want
it?
stupid buttons, and then it's like falling off of you when you stand up. I usually take it off and I'm like just naked. And usually there's always like kind of one nurse that kind of gives you like a I'm like whatever.
You're like, you can get out of here then. I've done this myself many times. Thank you.
Exactly. No.
I don't need you checking my stuff.
I treated myself when I had Clancy to a new nightgown that was like flowy and loose, and I labored in that for a long time before I got in the bathtub and had him at the birthing center. But anyways, that's a whole other story. Anyway, I
Funks. We're back to funks.
we're
See, we cover all the topics.
we do. This is our real conversations.
This is
I don't know. I was thinking about that too. I was like, I wonder if we're trying too hard to be too professional. You know what I mean?
maybe. Wow,
And like
maybe.
I like our topics that we've brought, but I'm also kind of like I feel like, and maybe that's a little bit of my thing is like, I feel like we started this because we have such good conversations, but then sometimes it feels like we have a good conversation and then we record the podcast and it's like nothing like the conversation we had before we started recording the podcast.
Maybe we should just stick to recording our conversations and then putting that
Sorry.
out there. Because yeah, there's often times where you and I will start talking and then you have this great idea and I'm like, that was great. We need to remember that. And it does not come out the same
No.
or we completely forget about it. But
Or like the emotion isn't there anymore.
yes.
And
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like that was what happened when we did the discipline podcast.
Yeah.
Like the first one we recorded, we were like, eh. But we had
Just forget what
talked
I said.
so much beforehand and it seemed so good. And then we like tried to be really professional. And maybe we're just
And
professional.
it's like I do appreciate those videos where talking about social media again, like where people will post like, oh, a real life, like trying to de-influence. Is that what they call it? I
Yeah.
do appreciate those, but I also get an I'm not trying to like bash anybody, and it sounds like I am, but it seems like a lot of work to put up your phone and like record you doing stuff, normal stuff. Like we all know it's normal life. We know what influencers do. Like we can't, it's not healthy to
Well,
put them on a pedestal.
yeah. Well, I think the de-influencing kind of annoys me because like influencers, it's so obvious that it's fake, right? Like,
Yeah.
and if it's not obvious to you, then it's fake. I'll just tell you now.
Then you need Jesus,
Yeah.
probably. Hmm.
Or like if you're coveting, like, oh, I wish I had that. And if I had more money, I wish I had that.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, I have like a tickle in my throat now. Ugh. Um, anyways, let me drink some more coffee. I do get annoyed with the de-influencing because it's like, look at me, I do nothing. I don't know. It's kind of more like, to me, a lot of the videos I see, I guess, it feels like it's not just like, okay, like here's my day to day, like, and it's just kind of like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, and
I
when
don't.
I see people like de-influencing, it's almost kind of like our book club. I miss from Mama. How literally the first chapter, she's like comparing mediocre motherhood to like what social media is. And
Yes.
if I could have a camera follow me around all day, I would probably overwhelm a lot of people. Like,
Well,
I'm just,
a podcast that I love to listen to. They were just talking about why do you only see the beautiful on social media? Like, and that's been a huge thing is like, oh, we want to see everything but the beautiful. Like, that's not real. But the truth is, it takes a lot of work to get to that beautiful. And that beautiful is what we should want to put to the world, right? Like, everybody has a bad day. Everybody has, a rough time. Jesus on the cross says, on the cross, um, says, my God, why have you forsaken me or whatever.
mhm.
I never get that right. But like that was a bad day for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even when
Sorry.
he was kicked out of his own hometown, like rejected by his own people.
I absolutely just puked on myself.
Oh, you poor thing. That cough is terrible, isn't it?
It is. I feel like I have whooping cough.
It's a thing. I think it's been going around. I really do.
I feel like a seal. Speaking of seals, last time I was at the Oregon coast, I was told that there were no more seals in the bay because they had run the seals out of the bay or whatever. And then you posted a picture of all the seals in the bay last time y'all were there, and I was like, I think my dad just didn't want to go see the seals in the bay.
I I've never actually seen them up front. Ruth was not impressed, and those things are hideous, but they're kind of hilarious to look at. I don't know, because they're just like big blobs.
I love the seals.
I have
Or sea
a
lions.
much
What are they?
different,
They're seals or sea lions? They're sea lions.
yeah, I don't know the difference.
I think they're sea lions because they're big and fat. I think
Yeah, there's
seals
some big
are
and fat ones, and they're hilarious. Like when like one pops out of the water and like they're all just sitting there like snuggling, and then yeah, then they start getting mad at each other, and I'm like, oh,
Have you
I
seen
have a
them, like
different.
bite each other?
They do. They almost like bite each other.
They're like
I'm
mean.
like, they are mean. I know. And then this is gonna sound so funny. Gracie and I talked about this. We're standing there, and I'm like, am I the only one that's like, if my child fell down there, what would I do?
Oh,
Would I
totally.
jump in there? Like, what do they call it? Your intuitive thoughts? Or like, if you're near
Intrusive.
a cliff and you're
Oh,
like, what if my kid falls down there? Like, am I the her and I were just thinking about that. I was like,
oh.
am I the only one that thinks those things?
I hate bridges. I hate bridges. Have you ever been to the East Coast?
No.
Okay. All over the East Coast are just like stupid bridges that are huge and tall. Like think the Newport Bridge, but like taller.
Oh,
And just awful. And I hate them. I can't, I'm like, what, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can start rolling down your window as you're like heading towards the water, but that's if you survive the impact of your car being crushed by the, no, it's
I
a,
know. I am kind of the same way, but I try not to. I've known people who are like super freaked out about that. I'm good if we're just cruising on over, but if we stop on a bridge,
oh.
I don't know about that.
You know what was funny though is like the underwater bridge. When we lived in Virginia in the Chesapeake Bay, there's an entire I don't even know how long it is, but it goes underwater. And people will, I mean, it takes forever to get through this stupid bridge. Like you can sit there for hours.
Oh,
And um when we first got married, well, not when we first got married, after Jesse deployed and we were living together after we got married, um we were living in Newport News and he was working in Norfolk. So it was across the bay, basically. And so he would like get off work or like get released or whatever on at like 1 p.m. and they wouldn't get home till like 3 or 4 because they literally, and it was a 30-minute drive. But if you get caught at that bridge, you will sit there for hours.
why?
It just like the way the traffic flows, and then people like get nervous going into the bridge, so they slow way down. And
I
then
would be flooring it.
the worst part is that um people will sit there and idle for so long that they don't realize they're almost out of gas and will run out of gas halfway in the tunnel.
No,
And so then you have to, like, cars have to back out of the tunnel so that way the tow truck can get to that car. Oh, it's a whole, it's awful.
that
But
is so dumb.
there's so many people I know that like hated that bridge because they felt claustrophobic. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine under here. I don't know why, but above the water, excuse you. Stop it. Yes, we all know you're here.
Mhm.
We all know that this big old Bill is here. But Anywho, we have 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in
That's
this.
it?
Yeah. Well, we talked for like 10 minutes before I started recording.
Oh, I see. Well, what if we just like tomorrow we just hopped on and we really try to stay on focus on funnels.
No, we
And
don't.
just talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds good. This is a good. We can save this for like when we feel like missing a week.
We could just do like what does a normal conversation between us look like? Or it'd be funny. We could label it how many